What is going on, guys? I'm SceptileMC here, George D, coach of your San Francisco Arcaniners, here to bring you my GBA Season 7 Week 2 match against Lars or El Scissor or the Borussia Donphans. Looking at his team, he decided to bring the Donphan, the Nihiligo, the Rotom Heat, the Decidueye, the Lucario, and the Magearna. And if you want to see why I brought my team, you can go in the description and find my team builder down there, which I uploaded yesterday. Basically, I'm going to try to sweep with Volcarona or my Superior or my Suicune even, because all of those have the sweeping potential with the defensive core of my Garchomp, my Mew, and my Registeel. So, looking at his team, I do expect him to want to lead off with either the Donphan, possibly the Rotom Heat if it's a bulky set. Pretty much those two, both of which do get stopped by my Garchomp, kind of, because I do have the Dragon Tail and the Dragon Claw on them. You also have the Stealth Rocks, which I want to get up as soon as possible in this game. But, so, he decides to lead off with his, drumroll please, Donphan is what he decides to lead off with. We're just called Frank, so he goes into that. And turn one, I know he could Rapid Spin away my rocks immediately if he wanted to. He does just go for Stealth Rocks, and right here I decide just to Dragon Tail him out. The reason I Dragon Tailed him out is because I wanted to get damage off on this thing to break up a potential Sturdy, which could help in the later game. I actually Dragon Tail him out into Decidueye, and now I do have the Dragon Claw, and I want to get some damage off on this thing as well, because I need some crucial damage on this thing if I'm going to want to be able to take him out with a +1 Ice Beam off my Suicune. Now he does just go for a arrow shot thingy, but yeah, on this turn I decide that I'm going to set up my my Stealth Rocks as he decides to go out into Rotom Heat. I do get up my rocks, and it's pretty much now, do I want to get damage on this thing? And I'm like, yes, me getting some crucial damage on this thing is probably the most important aspect of this team. So Rotom Heat, I am just going to go for a Dragon Claw, expecting him to want a Will-O-Wisp right here. I didn't want to switch into Suicune or anything at this point. I just wanted to get some damage off on the Rotom Heat, which I do, which is nice. Now, he could potentially have the Pain Split or the rest. Judging by how I saw an item, he is going to be not the rest set, the Pain Split set, as we do get revealed right here. Which that takes him back up to about 75%, as I just go for a Dragon Tail again. So I'm just going to try to shuffle around his team a little bit with Garchomp, maybe pick up a little bit of damage on everything as we get him out into the Magearna. Now, right here, I decided I would just scout. Maybe he's a Choice Scarf variant. It is possible. I don't think it's likely on this team, but it is possible. So I'm going to switch out right here into, I believe I go into Registeel. Yes, I do. So I go into Registeel right here, as he decides just to switch out as well, which kind of tells me that this is not a Choice Scarf set. If it was, he would have stayed in, especially knowing that I was more of a bulky spread. As he decides right here to switch out into his Donphan. So, not the best order of events for me, but this is actually all part of a plan I had. If I'm ever in a situation where the Registeel is going to force out the Donphan, I have one of two choices. I can go into my Superior, or I can go out into my Suicune. Now, it looks like I got enough damage on the Decidueye to take him out with a +1 Ice Beam, even if it isn't a Assault Vest spread. However, you can't really be sure, because I can't really judge who does what, but he is just going to go for a Rapid Spin right here. Going to take me down to a nice 172 health. I get my leftovers, and now it's time to see what Suicune can actually do. So, he's going to get his leftovers as well. Heal himself back up to around 90%, I want to say. He's going to withdraw, and he's going to actually hard switch into the Decidueye. Now, I don't know how fast this thing is. I don't know what it wants to do. I do have a tiny bit of speed investment, but not a lot. But I do have a tiny bit of speed investment on this thing, so there is a chance that we could just outspeed it and take it out. So I am just going to fire off the Ice Beam on this turn. I didn't think I should Tailwind up yet. Hindsight, I probably should have gone for Tailwind right here, because he does actually outspeed me and goes for a Leaf Blade, takes me down very low, and that shows me that he is an offensive set rather than a defensive set. And I go for Ice Beam, and we are actually able to take out the Robin, which is a big threat gone to my team. While that Pokemon did not stop my Volcarona, it did have a good chance of stopping my Superior, as well as it just did a lot of damage overall to a few of my Pokemon. Here he's just going to switch out into Lucario, and this is where I kind of wish I just went for Tailwind instead of going for Ice Beam first. I am going to switch into Samihata right here, which is my Garchomp, and just let him go for close combat against me. I could have gone into Mew, but just in case he just wanted to predict that and go for a Crunch, I don't know. I didn't want to switch into Mew, especially because my Garchomp was already burned. I'm going to get the Rough Skin and the Rocky Helmet damage on this thing, which is just very good damage overall. We do a solid 30% to him. And he actually turns out to be the Life Orb variant, so he gets down really low now. I am going to go into Captain right here, which is my Mew. And I think right here I do decide just to fire off a very safe Earthquake. I don't want to go for U-turn in case he decides to stay in case he thinks he outspeeds me. I don't know. Decide to play it safe. I go for Earthquake. Now this is where I wish I had the Waterfall on this thing. I almost ran a Waterfall over Soft Boiled. While that could have been kind of detrimental, it would have sped up this game a lot. But right here I do reveal that I am just going to have the U-turn, because I'm just going to click it, go for U-turn, U-turn out. He actually decides to pull out a double switch into Rotom, expecting me to have like the Ice Beam or something, or change of plans. I go for Defog on this turn, trying to get the rocks off my side of the field. Very good plan on my part, because that means that I can switch into Suicune pretty reliably again, as well as my Volcarona is not going to be taking the 50% from rocks. Right here I do go for the U-turn. Now this is where I kind of wish I did have the Willow or the Waterfall, although I still wouldn't have been able to kill it, so I don't know if I would have taken the burn, but that's just all hindsight comments right there. I do go for the U-turn, and right here I know he's going to want to Will-O-Wisp me. He's not going to Volt Switch, he's not going to do any of that. Pretty sure he's going to go for a Will-O-Wisp, so I'm going to go into Wet Doge right here, especially because I revealed that I was a physical set, as he does decide to go for the Wisp. Now right here is a little bit of a controversial play in my opinion, because I actually clicked the Scald, which was the right play. I'm not saying it was not the right play. But I wish I ran Surf. On an offensive Suicune, I should have ran the Surf over the Scald. There was no reason to run the Scald, really, especially if my main goal is just outspeed to take things out. So I do click the Scald, and I actually get a critical hit. And the crit mattered in taking it out, but I wasn't even expecting to take it out, to be honest. But that is unfortunate, because now the Rotom does go down when it wouldn't have prior, and he's going to go into Lucario right here. Right here, I do decide that I think I'm just going to sack off my Lucario. Again, I don't want to go into Mew and take a Crunch or something like that and then die. But I do always have a counter to Lucario in the form of my Mew right here. Can always go for Earthquake against it, and that's what I'm going to switch into right now. I do have enough speed to outspeed an Adamant variant, which I did not think he would bring a Jolly variant, but he turns out he does bring a Jolly variant. Goes for Iron Tail over Crunch, as I go for Earthquake. So he actually ran the Iron Tail to hit my Togekiss, which I didn't even bring because I didn't think I would need it. Especially because 3 of his Pokemon just completely shit on Togekiss's life. He misses the Iron Tail, and I get off my Earthquake. So that is unfortunate, because that was definitely a Jolly Life-Orbed Lucario, and the Iron Tail would have been able to do a massive amount of damage to me, about 40% I think after leftovers. But I'm going to U-turn out right here. Not wanting this Donphan to go for knockoff against me or anything, I want to keep my leftovers intact, and right here I decide I'm just going to go into my Firebug. The reason I went to this is because I had a pretty good idea that he would either go for Stealth Rocks or go for knockoff, both of which I can take on this Pokemon, and I pretty much decide right here I'm going to see if the Nihilego is Choice Scarfed or not, because that's just good knowledge, and I'm going to set up a Quiver Dance. So I go for Quiver Dance right here as he goes into Nihilego, and the way he brought it out, I was pretty confident it was Choice Scarfed, but I didn't want to not sweep him if he was not Choice Scarfed, basically. So I do click HP Ground right here, as he does turn out to be Choice Scarf, and I was like, okay, that's not actually too bad, because now I get initiative into the next Pokemon I want to go into. Whatever it may be, I can go into Registeel, I can go into Mew, I can do all that stuff, as he does get the Beast Boost, and he does get a special attack raise. Now I do believe I go into Mew right here, because I can take a Power Gem even after +1. It does about 60% to me now, maybe even less, to be honest, because it's just a specially defensive Mew. as he decides to switch out right here, and I just fire off another Earthquake. Now this is a little bit of a, this is where I want waterfall type deal. I go for Earthquake right here, and it's just not doing anything. I don't have my Suicune anymore, which means I can't switch in like pretty safely. I don't want to switch into Superior on a potential knockoff, which is why I'm allowing my Mew to get a knockoff right here if he does in fact have it. I decide I'm just going to get some damage. My Superior does have the GBA berry, I think that's what it's called. It's the poison reducing berry. So even if I get off the Leaf Storm, I can go for Glare against Nihilego and still take a hit. He decides just to go for an Earthquake right here, though, and that kind of tells me that he does not have the, what is it called? He does not have the knockoff. So I could switch into Superior, or I could continue going for Earthquakes and Roost, and Earthquake and Roost. Right here, though, I do decide to U-turn out into my Superior, because I can take an Earthquake. If he wants to go for a knockoff now, that's a good play on his part for giving me a false sense of security. However, that is not what he actually does. He actually goes for the Earthquake right here, and it's going to bring me down to about 95 HP. Now this was a pretty tricky play for me, because I actually have it's now a roll if I live the Sludge Wave, or the Sludge Bombs, Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb, whichever he decides to bring. So I almost clicked Glare right there, but he actually turns out just to go for Ice Shard, as I do go for a Leaf Storm. I figured the roll was more in my favor anyway, so it was more of a chance for me to come out on top of that. Also, if he did decide just to switch and I got the damage on the Nihilego, then I could hard switch into my Mew, and I would be able to outstall the Donphan because I do have recovery and he doesn't. But right here, I do decide to switch out just because he did take out, or I did take out the Donphan, and that is really the only thing I kind of needed Superior to take down, because now my Mew and my Registeel are the only two left that really need to do the work, because they're both specially defensive mons against the two Pokemon that they actually are required to wall. So right here, I do decide I'm just going to go for a Thunder Wave. I do not have the Earthquake. I do have the Seismic Toss just in case he brought the Latias, but I am going to go for a Thunder Wave right here. And then on this turn, I decide that I could go for Rest, or I could switch into Mew. And on this turn, I do in fact decide that I want to switch into the Mew, just because I know HP Fire is going to be doing absolutely nothing to me, because it's not super effective, it's not stab, it's not anything like that. But I do decide to switch into Mew right here, as he actually decides to make the switch out into the... No, I think he actually goes for HP Fire right here, if I'm not mistaken. He gets paralyzed. He gets paralyzed by my T-Wave. And right here, Nihilego. It would have done, what, 20 damage to me? It wasn't going to do anything to me anyway. And I would have just been able to go for a Soft Boiled, or Roost, I forget which one I run in this game. I think I run Soft Boiled. I'm weird. Yep, there we go. I just like seeing the egg break, come on. I just like seeing that egg and it's like, you're healed. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for healing me. So Captain's going to be here in front of the Risticle, and I'm just going to fire off an Earthquake. I do outspeed this thing because Mew is just fast and good. Go for Earthquake, and it looks like not a 2-hit KO. Looks like a 3-hit KO as he goes for the Shadow Ball right here. Now, if he gets a special defense drop, that could be very bad for me. He does not get the special defense drop, and I am, in fact, able to go for the second Earthquake, and then just rinse and repeat. I outspeed, he can't do anything. Honestly, if I was him right here, would have gone for the Shift Gear if he had it, just because if he had the Shift Gear, he could have gone +2, and then he could have gone for a Shadow Ball crit instead of just going for Shadow Ball right here. That's just gives him a smaller, or like a bigger chance to win the game than what he had, because as of now, he didn't have a chance to win the game. He does get this Spadef drop on this turn though, which is kind of unfortunate for him, because he didn't get it on the first turn, got it on the second turn. And then right here, I'm just going to go for another Earthquake, and that is going to take out the Magearna, and then the Nihilego is all that's left, and that thing dies to an Earthquake as well. So that is going to be the game. It's going to be a 3-0 in favor of the Arcaniners over the Donphans, which is great, because we started off in an awful way with a misclick that cost us the game, and now we're going off of that with a 3-0 win over a very threatening team, coached by a very threatening player. So overall, guys, I think this was a fantastic week for us. 3-0 over Lars. The the Borussia Donphan, especially because they are in our division, so it is even more important that we win this game. And yeah, guys, so that's gonna be it for the video. Next week we do play Tup and the Pittsburgh Piratatas. Yeah, I've never played Tup before, actually. In the 2 seasons I've been in the GBA prior, I've never played Tup, which is kind of surprising, actually. But we are going to play him next week. We're going to play him next week. Yeah, guys, so that's going to be the end of the video. If you guys did enjoy, I'd really appreciate you to leave a like, rating, comment, or subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!